Welcome to Pub Talk, the unofficial official craft beer podcast of Oklahoma, where we're all about the three B's, beer buddies and bullshit. I'm Jeremy, and I'm joined as always by someone who thinks Cupid is stupid, but it would be smart to have local beer at heart, Michael.
Hello, hello.
On today's show, we'll revisit the last month or so since the last episode, look ahead to upcoming beer festivals, and we'll talk about beer. If you like what you hear, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Find us on the web at pubtalkpodcast.com and on social media at pubtalkpodcast. And let's get started with the first round.
You know, they brew 10,000 bottles of beer a day. I drink 45 off the assembly line, and I'm the asshole.
What are you drinking today?
I am drinking. Luckily, I found a beer because I fucking ran out of time yesterday. Forgot to go pick something up, and I was about to have to drink something, one of those High Point ones, and I didn't want to do that. And then I didn't realize that I knew at some point liquor stores started opening again in Oklahoma, but I guess they can't open. They can't open till noon. It looks like because nobody was open till noon.
Oh, is that a law? I thought that was just.
I don't know. It's just weird that they were all noon, either noon or not open today.
Yeah.
But so I swung by Reese's because they sometimes have a decent selection depending on which one you go to. And I picked up a beer from Tups. Haven't had a Tups beer in a fucking minute. This is it's a DDH IPA Alpha Drop. It says India Pale Ale brewed with Galaxy Nelson. I don't know how to say that one. Cryo Citra and Cryo Mosaic hops. 7% ABV. Stupid glare.
Yeah.
There we go. What else does it say? Nothing important. I don't remember if I said the percent. It's 7% ABV. And it's fucking delicious. I haven't had a beer in a very long time. Probably since the last time we recorded.
Oh, wow. Am I echoing?
No, you sound good.
Okay.
I think that's right. There's a couple times that I almost did. Like when the Cowboys were playing. But that I didn't because I would have kept drinking. Because they're gonna do what they do. But yeah, it's really good. Like I said, haven't had one in a while. Haven't had their beer in a while. It's in my Grogu Mandalorian glass.
Nice.
One of my favorite glasses. I love the DDH IPA series. I feel like, I haven't been on social media other than like Twitter, but I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff from them on there. I guess stuff's moving along. Fuck, we might have even talked about it on the show last time. But yeah, it's good. I'd give it a 4 because it's not, I think the last time I had one that was just like just a good beer. This one, a little bit above that. It's tasty. Probably should have grabbed a second one. Yeah. But oh well.
The magic of editing, you could go grab a second one if you need to. I think they are planning to open that new space at the end of this year, the end of 2022.
Oh, wow. Right on.
I think that's the last update I saw. 903 cruising along too, right up the highway there in Texas, North Texas.
So, I forgot they were getting one too.
Yeah. Yep, those are both places we'll need to hit up once they get their new doors open.
Been so forgetting everything. I just found out last month I graduate in like 2 months, a little under 2 months. Yeah, that's how not paying attention to shit.
Gotcha.
But that's cool that they've got one too.
Well, let's see. How do I want to do this? There's so much shit in my way. So I'm drinking because, like you said, I hadn't been drinking much. I didn't have a lot of beer in the house. In fact, I had 3 options. I had Big Jamoke. I had Dunkel. We've had both those on the show. We know how I feel about those. Those are everyday drinkers. And then I had this big old boy. I did not use my better judgment like you did. This is a Trophy Club beer from Elk Valley Brewing. It is double barrel Pumpion.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it's 13% alcohol by volume. it's an imperial pumpkin ale that was aged in bourbon and maple barrels, with spices. Can't forget the spices. And it's a beer that sort of surprised me. I don't remember if I've talked about it on the show or not, because I definitely had this beer around Christmas. It was our December member beer. But I wouldn't have expected to like this necessarily based on the description. I'm not the biggest pumpkin beer guy. It's not a stout either. At 13%, I don't know, like barley wines and stuff usually miss me. I'm not even a big triple IPA guy, those heavier IPAs. But anyway, this one's really, really good. There were 3 member bottles, and this is my last one. So probably wouldn't opened it today, but I felt like it was the better choice of the 3 beers I had.
Wait, so what kind of beer is it? I know it's pumpkin, but what?
Yeah, it's just an ale, just an imperial pumpkin ale.
God damn it, it's that high. That seems.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the barrels, that give it that. But yeah, I fucking dig this. As far as a rating, I mean, let me take another drink. Oh, and I got my nice Triple Cup glass.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess as far as a rating, I got to go above a 4 because I keep returning to it, despite the fact, like with my member beers, I've been pretty generous. I give you a can, I'll give Joe, or not Joe, because Joe's a member too, but I'll give Josh a can, whatever. I drink all 3 of these bitches, so if that tells you anything. I was not generous with them. So that alone, I mean, it's a good beer. It surprised me. It's getting me to drink a style I wouldn't reach for typically. Yeah. It's got to be above a 4. So like, I don't know, 4. I'll go 4.3.
Damn, right on. That is surprising. I've always heard people talk about that, like at least just the Pumpion, not the
the regular one. Yeah, people got nuts for that shit. Yeah,
I think I had it at a festival one time and thought it was good, but
yeah,
I'm not a big pumpkin beer fan, or not one that I would drink regularly.
Same. I've never had anything bad by Elk Valley, so I mean, there's that side of it, but I was still surprised that I enjoyed this one as much as I do, especially because, I mean, you saw the bottle. It's not 12 ounces. And I've had the whole bottle every sitting, every time I've opened one.
That's awesome.
It warms the belly.
You need it. I mean, that's a fucking winner.
Yeah. Which I guess, first round's over, I suppose. Yeah, we might as well just get into that. Yeah, so we haven't recorded since a few days before Christmas, I guess it was. And most of that, at least on my end, was I didn't really want to record a show talking about beer because I was trying to do dry January. And, the more you surround yourself with beer, the harder that is. Sounds like you maybe not deliberately did it.
Yeah, I did it. Definitely not deliberate. Like I said, there were a couple times where I almost did, but they would have been one of those fucking beers above 14%. I'm just like, well, that's an easy way to talk myself out of it. If there was something lower point in there, I probably would have drank one.
Yeah.
How'd that go though? So
yeah, I mean, I completed it. But I would be being dishonest if I said it was easy. It wasn't. I didn't have a whole lot of trouble with it while I was awake. I just kept myself busy. But I was having dreams about how bad I wanted a beer. It's like dreaming about being at bars I hadn't been to in years, with people I hadn't drank with in years in some cases, and it was like, all right, it's got a hold of my mind at least. And but yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. As soon as I guess it was January 31st, this past Monday, I stopped by Marshall on my way home from work that day, snagged me a 6 or a Dunkel and Big Jamoke, and was like, "You just wait till tomorrow, you beautiful bastards."
Perfect to break it with.
Yeah.
Did you notice any different not drinking it for a month? Did it affect, did those beers affect you at all any different?
No. And I always hear from people that, they lose weight and this kind of thing if they do dry January, sober October, any of that. I didn't, like 3 pounds maybe. I mean, which, didn't shit on me. And didn't really feel any different or anything like that. Just the main thing is that it was noticeable on the weekends that I was like, fucking shit, I kind of don't know what to do with myself other than reach for a beer. Especially like you said, when Dallas was playing and stuff, and that playoff game, it was like, motherfucker, like if I had beer in the house other than this, I had this one bottle of Double Barrel Pumpion that was in the fridge the whole time. If I had other beer in the house, I don't know how that would have gone.
Oh yeah, I forgot about how bad that game was. That's why it made me want to drink more.
Yeah.
Because first it was just like, oh, here we go, just gonna get blown out, and then they kept trying to fucking win. I'm like, God damn it, just end the fucking game and lose. Forgot about that.
Yeah, is what it is. Wasn't unexpected.
No, not at all.
The folks that were surprised by it and everyone calling for McCarthy's head and all this shit. I'm like, man, nothing changes until they change the culture and probably the ownership there.
Yeah.
But
we're this offseason getting rid of fucking people that have been there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I don't think it'll fix the problem, at least not long term.
Oh.
They might win a few more games during the season, but
Yeah, I'm typically a pretty optimistic person, and especially, but with the Cowboys, you're just, eventually I'm not going to be one of those, we're going to the Super Bowl every year, but you think there's a chance that it might happen. And like during that game, I finally had like it set in. I was like, I might not ever see them go to the fucking Super Bowl again. It might be one of those, like, I think the Chiefs took forever in between
50 years.
It's like some shit like that might legitimately happen.
They're halfway there.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that was shocked by the way that game went didn't watch other Dallas games the second half of the season. It was pretty much a blueprint for what they've been doing. I don't know. That was that and the dreaming. Those were my biggest struggles with dry January. And yeah, I don't know. 2 years ago, I was drinking a shitload during early COVID and quarantine and all that stuff, but hadn't really drank a whole lot the last, I don't know, almost a year, I guess. And it wasn't, I don't know, because of that, it just wasn't super difficult other than, a couple times.
Right on.
But I've had a beer every day in February. And yeah, I don't see that changing. But anyway, that's where we've been. I guess that was a long-winded way of saying, that's why there wasn't an episode for a little over a month and a half, whatever it's been. Plus, just historically, January is not the busiest time for beer news, probably partially because of dry January. But there's been enough for us to do an episode for sure. I don't know. What do we want to kick off with? I guess we can start with we've got our first beer festivals of the season or of the year happening in the Tulsa area this month. So the 26th. There's two festivals. There's the one at the aquarium. I think it's called Splash. That I've still never been to that. And that won't be any different this year. But it helps to raise money for the aquarium and stuff like that, I think. And there's food and beer samplings and all that. Sounds like a great time. It's just, man, Jinx is like 45-50 minutes for me.
Yeah.
And it's the same day as Dark Mode coming back. The festival of all dark beer that Welltown put on a couple of years ago, and they didn't do it last year, but it's back for this year. Again, it's the 26th. I don't know. I haven't bought a ticket yet, but I'm probably going to. It was a good ass time in 2020. It was kind of the last big thing we did before this goddamn pandemic set in.
So that wasn't last year. Jesus Christ.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was right before COVID hit.
Wow. Wow. I thought for sure it was last year. Damn. Wow.
This time last year, we were all kind of still hunkered down waiting on a vaccine.
Oh, right on.
Anyway, check those out, and maybe we'll see you there, at least at dark mode. I guess let's see. Yeah, the other big thing I had to talk about, and we'll probably talk about a few aspects of this, and I don't know. Reach for it here. I don't know if you've picked this up, Michael, but while I was not drinking, I had time to read a book.
Oh, right on.
It's Oklahoma Beer, a handcrafted history by Brian, from Beer is Okay, forward by Wes from Marshall Brewing, who's been on the show as well. We had Brian on a little over a year ago around Christmas of 2020, and he was talking about, the early process of writing this book and everything. So now it's a reality. It's out. It's, you can get your copy. Probably beersok.com is your easiest route to do that, but I think it's in bookstores, some bookstores anyway as well. It's so he did a good job of kind of cataloging some of the early stuff that I did not know about. I'll admit that the latter part of the book was, it was review for me, but a lot of folks probably don't know about like the early days of Marshall and Dead Armadillo and some of that stuff that's in here. But it's only a couple hundred pages, so it's not like an intimidating read. And because it's about beer, it doesn't read like a dry encyclopedia history book type of situation. So I don't know. I just want to encourage people to give it a chance. And I wanted to mention and see if you're as surprised by some of the stuff I learned in the early part of the book as I was. I had no idea that the building that used to be Gray Snail and is now Nola's was a brewery until the late 90s.
Right on. What brewery was that?
I didn't write down the name.
Okay.
It was a brewery though. I would have been before we were old enough to drink. So, and then I also didn't know that we used to have a brewery at 71st Memorial. It was Tulsa Brewing Company.
When was that?
Up until like
same time frame?
Up until like the mid 2010s, so like 2005, 6, somewhere in there.
Damn, really?
Yeah, evidently.
Huh.
And I could be remembering the dates a little bit wrong. I didn't take like thorough notes, but yeah, it was in that ballpark because it was definitely after let me just look.
That's crazy.
Magic of editing. It does seem like I didn't have to look. Cherry Street Brewery was the name of the one. That was where the Gray Snail used to be, and it was through 96.
I think I've heard of that one, but I didn't know it was. That's crazy. It's where Gray Snail was.
I know. Explains why that building spoke to me. Oh, Tulsa Brewing Company was 98, 93 through 98. So yeah, that's why. That was also before we were old enough. But like, I didn't know Belle Isle Brewing and OKC, or I guess that's like Moore or whatever.
Yeah.
Opened in like 95. So they're one of the early breweries, and that makes me want to check them out. I've never been there.
That's that restaurant one, right? Like it's a brew pub type.
Right. Yeah, I think back in the day it had to be a brew pub to laws and whatnot. And we've had several people on from the Norman area that have talked about coaches. Royal Bavaria is another one I haven't been to in the OKC area. It's still open. It was 94. There's just a lot of stuff in here that like was more recent than I expected.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about it. It hadn't really come up in all of our interviews and this kind of thing. So anyway, it was cool to read about. I don't know, the first probably third half of the book is that kind of stuff. And that was the stuff that I really enjoyed, was learning new stuff. So like I said, I certainly know Marshall and Dead Armadillo's story and that kind of thing. And that's kind of towards the tail end of the book. Anyway.
And does it go all the way back? Like, does it go to like, what is that, Prohibition days or whatever?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Just added to the cart. No, that's another thing that I completely forgot about, that all that even happened. That's awesome. Sucker for that type of crap, especially like you said, some of that older stuff that, we've done a lot of research for talking to people and all this stuff over the past few years or whatever, but that's awesome. Or you hear about stuff in passing, like when we were at Marshall talking to Cody and he was talking about something that was over there way back in the day. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. And I mean, even Mustang, who we met, it's got the whole history of how that place got started and then eventually shut down. And it mentions Tim, who we almost had on the podcast way back in like 2015, when we drunkenly met him at Harvest Beer Festival. So anyway, yeah, I just want to bring that up. I didn't have a ton else. What do you have?
I have nothing. I was just scrolling through Twitter to see if there was anything else, and it's not.
Before we get out of here, I should mention that Legally Brewed down in Norman, which they've just been home brewers, but they have now kind of decided to open up inside the space with Equity Brewing there in Norman. So it's kind of like almost a co-op thing, 2 breweries under one roof.
Really?
Their kind of grand opening thing was this weekend. And I got to get down to Norman because I still haven't been to Equity and now Legally Brewed, and I still haven't been to 405 or Cross Cannons, and 405 especially feels like a crime because it's been open for so long. But
right. And I've enjoyed a lot of their beer. Just never been there. Yeah.
So anyway, that's on my radar to do a little brewery hopping in Norman the next time I'm in the OKC area. But I wanted to make sure to mention that they've got a space now. Congrats to those guys. I know they listen to the show, so congrats to them. And I think for now that's kind of it. We didn't have a ton to talk about on this episode, given neither of us have been drinking. But we'll get some more spotlight episodes scheduled, and by all means, if anyone's interested in doing one with us, just shoot us a message on Facebook or Instagram at Pub Talk Podcast, and we'll get something going. And I think that's it for this week. If you want to close this motherfucker down.
You've just listened to another round of Pub Talk. If you like what you heard today, show us some love all over social media at Pub Talk Podcast. And to continue getting alerts every time we drop an episode, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button before you go. You can also find out all you've ever wanted to know about the show and more by heading over to our website, pubtalkpodcast.com. And remember, folks, there's never anything too big or hard in life that you can't handle it over a few beers with your good friends. So until next time, just chill to the next episode.
Bye.